Another shooting near the White House took place. This was at the Washington Monument. We don't know a ton about it at this moment, but here's what I'm starting to think. And I just want to go ahead and resolve it for everyone. Stop. Stop with the shootings. Okay, so they'll just hopefully resolve it on that front. Cut it out. This feels like it's in the headlines every single day. But in this segment, after you get that update, I'm going to ask a question. Do we have the best Secret Service agents? Because I really appreciate anyone who would serve. And I know people specifically who've been assigned to details to protect presidents and vice presidents. And I really admire them. They're very brave people. But that doesn't mean that all of them are the correct, most qualified. Because we've seen some of these security failures recently, right? Maybe you want to say that about the White House Correspondents' Dinner because the guy was stopped before he got very close to the ballroom. Whenever people were like, Trump almost died again. That's not true. Still a bad event. Scary. But the guy was really far from where Trump was. But regardless, definitely Butler and then the guy on the golf course and then some different things. You say, I think Secret Service could take it up a notch a little bit. And that got reaffirmed when I learned about the behavior that Kayla found of a Secret Service agent who was caught playing with himself naked, playing with his little Secret Service agent what? In a hotel room. And we're going to look at that story in the segment. Stick around because that's wild. But first, here's the latest news about near the White House Washington Monument shooting that Secret Service dealt with.
Starting with that breaking news in Washington, the Secret Service says there was an officer-involved shooting just steps from the Washington Monument. Want to show you the map here. So this is the corner of Independence and 15th Street. So it's not super close to the White House, but it's not super far from it. It's right off the National Mall there. And I want to show you what the scene looked like in the last couple of minutes. D.C. police, looks fairly quiet at the moment, but they still want people to avoid the area. They've closed it all off. And this did have an impact to the White House. The Secret Service ended up evacuating the North Lawn. Our Monica Albo was there when it happened. Mon, tell us more because, you know, it's not unheard of, but it's not very common at all that they'd shut down the North Lawn like that.
Yeah, I have to tell you, Hallie, a handful of times I have experienced that, but typically the Secret Service agents, when they're notifying you that you need to move from this very camera position into the West Wing, they sort of tell you with a firmness, but not a sense of urgency like the one that we saw today, where certain agents did have some long guns drawn and were ushering us in, almost encouraging us to run inside. And of course, we didn't know why at the time, but we are learning more information. And Hallie, I just got a message alerting me that the Secret Service just put out a little bit more information. There are a couple of details we know, but they are just sharing publicly that this incident, which you're seeing there on your screen at 15th Street and Independence Avenue.
Quickest pause to request that you click the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. It's completely free and it's the simplest way to support the work that we do right below the video. Click that subscribe button and then also whatever you're thinking or some random statement, drop it in the comments. That helps algorithmically, and click the like button. Back to the video.
So closer to the Washington Monument than here to the White House, that this incident, quote, resulted from a confrontation between an armed individual and Secret Service police. So these are the kinds of agents who you would see around some of these very significant landmarks here in Washington.
So that's kind of what we know as of now, is that someone had a gun, then maybe tried to run away, and then there's a shooting that occurred and a bystander was grazed, hit in some capacity, but is okay in the hospital. I think the person who was shot, who had the gun, also is alive and in the hospital, and then obviously detained. But it's just, there's too many shootings. There's just too many shootings. And I think that my advice is that we stop. That just sort of comes to an end. Let's just stop with the shootings in general. All of the types of shootings. Let's just stop with them. The Secret Service said agents opened fire on a man near the White House who's alleged to have opened fire after he was confronted by authorities. So again, I don't exactly know the sequence of events here. Someone had a gun, looked suspicious. They walked up and like, hey, what are you doing? And then he was like, shooting. And then they shot. And then there we go. 2 law enforcement officials identified the suspect as someone named Michael Marks, who holds a Texas driver's license, and he is hospitalized, multiple gunshot wounds, and not life-threatening. So there's that. And then you say, all right, that seems like something Secret Service dealt with. No one died. If he was trying to go to the White House, he didn't get that close. But much closer calls have occurred. We don't know this particular individual's motives, only that a shooting occurred. That's scary. I'm glad it was dealt with without death. But does make you think this. I just am hearing about this so much. And then the butler, and then the golf course, and then the White House Correspondents' Dinner. If we're in this very tense environment, which I wish we weren't, and as long as the temperature is this high, it feels like political violence is much more common, then whoever the president is, however much I don't like them or do like them, they need to have good protection and not let bullets literally fly near the president. And that starts with staffing the Secret Service with the best of the best. And at least in one case, I think if this guy was responsible for the White House Correspondents' Dinner protection, we have a reason to believe why there were some security failures. He might have been too busy jarking it. A Secret Service officer was arrested Monday in Miami on a charge of indecent exposure. Now, when I hear that, I think, was he like urinating? Is that, sometimes do people get busted for, I don't think public urination should be, never mind, I won't finish that sentence. I don't think we need that quote. It should be something you're held accountable for. But also, if you go and you hide behind a bush and you're out drinking with friends, that's not something you should be arrested for. Is that crazy? I've never done it. But sometimes there aren't options. Like it's much cleaner to go urinate in a bush than in a bar bathroom. The bar bathrooms are almost always absolutely disgusting. The last bar bathroom I was in, sorry, we'll get to this story, it's an interesting one, but I think that you need to know this. The last bar bathroom I was in, it was raining outside, and literally there was leakage through the roof. So I was getting dripped on by unknown substances while I was dripping into the toilet, and it was nasty. And there was like flooding on the floor, so then you don't know what liquid is that. This is water or is this people's urine? I would rather go to a bush. I don't know if that's, but this was more than just urinating. That's why I thought it was going to be like a Secret Service agent was waiting for Trump and he took a little pee and then someone was like, oh no, that's not what this is. And maybe that's not the charge. Public indecency. I don't know what the charge is you get for public urination. Public urination, maybe. The officer, John Spillman, had worked hours earlier on exterior security screening for President Trump's appearance Sunday. So Trump's going somewhere. This is one of the guys who's working security screening. And look what happened. Okay, he's been put on administrative leave. Maybe he should be put in jail. The incident involving Spillman occurred at the DoubleTree by Hilton Hotel, according to an arrest. And listen to this. Police said that they went to the hotel in response to a call about a man who was naked on the 6th floor. This is a Secret Service guy. When police arrived, they found Spillman masturbating at the end of the hallway, the arrest report said. They took Spillman into custody. A woman stepped out of a nearby room and told them they had been downstairs in the lobby, and Spillman followed her upstairs to the 6th floor. The victim advised they immediately entered their room because she was in fear for her life. The victim saw the defendant masturbating next to their hotel room. Sickening. Disgusting. Just naked masturbating in a hotel after doing security for Trump. And we wonder why Thomas Crooks was able to get so close to Trump. Also, the guy's name is Spillman. None of this is real. It is real, but how is any of this real? I was just thinking in our next segment, I'm going to talk about people believing that these assassination attempts are staged, which is incorrect based on the facts we have, but is based on confusing circumstances, right? Like all of us who have had to interact with Secret Service, whenever we used to go to different events for high profile people, for presidents or Trump when he was campaigning, and then your perception of Secret Service is, hey, no one could get close to hurting the president these days with the technology we have. And then people have gotten really close to it. And it does make you go, is there any other explanation? Because this doesn't seem right. How could they literally let someone up onto a roof? It's like we all of our eyes could see. We were there. All of our eyes could see that roof. It was so obvious if someone were going to try to shoot the president. And so I was just thinking in preparation for our next segment, oh, is it a matter of Secret Service is failing? And why haven't there been major changes made? And then we learned about one of the Secret Service agents is this guy. Okay, well, that answers one of my questions, kind of. Maybe but some of the Secret Service people are absolute heroes. A lot of them are. And they're not partisan, and they're willing to risk their life, and they're serving the country like any other people serving the country. It's amazing. And some of them missed Cole Allen because they were in the equipment closet masturbating. Now, not literally, but that could have happened. Hotel security that responded to the floor told police they had seen the same conduct by Spillman. Wow. And then you have officers have chief of Secret Service police saying the alleged conduct is unacceptable and stands in stark contrast to the professionalism and integrity that I demand of our personnel. This agency takes these matters with the utmost seriousness, etc., etc. That is so creepy. I think this needs to be punished so severely. There's something deeply sick about somebody who ever wants to masturbate in front of people unconsensually. There's something sick about that. I know that seems like an obvious statement, but I don't think this would be punished to the degree that I think it should, based on what that says about your mindset. The gall, the I don't give an F attitude to say I'm going to be in a public place, in a hotel hallway, naked and masturbating when I know that I have on me a Secret Service badge. Something's messed up in your brain. And your name's Spillman. Okay? And that's that gets you an extra 10 years just because your name sounds like it goes with the crime you did. Okay? Did they God really has a plan for people, doesn't he? They named this guy Spillman. And then he was wanting to spill onto a hotel floor. Literally. Secret Service agent. Making a woman fear for her life. Horrific, excuse me. And that sounded so weird, the way I just pronounced that. Apologies. I was just trying to emphasize horrific. Excuse me. And maybe this is a part of the reason that too many close calls are happening. You got perverts. Which, by the way, we did a video. Let me show this to you because I hate to bring it back around to this, but we posted a video that's getting some attention that goes like this. How many sex criminals is it normal to be photographed with? How many times do you have to look in the mirror and see a sex criminal for you to be one? Yeah. So that was a bunch of different photos of Trump with different sex criminals and then a photo of himself with himself, of course, because he was found liable, which doesn't mean he's technically a criminal, but a liable sex abuser, you could say. And now is it a shocker that one of his Secret Service agents? There's a certain attracting, it's like Trump's a magnet. Do you know how many times I've been scrolling? I take a lot of photos with people. I've been scrolling and went, oh my gosh, that's a photo of me with a sex criminal. 0 times. Okay? 0 times. And Trump has like hundreds of photos of different prominent people who ended up being abusers of some kind, and then himself in that civil trial. And so then on top of that, is it a shocker that one of his Secret Service agents is isn't that a sex crime? Yeah, it is. No, it's not. Wow. But again, that's not to say all of the Secret Service, tons of people, admirable, honorable, courageous, etc. But there's something off. That's all I'm saying. And it's Spillman's trousers, apparently.